under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and broadcast live over the Lunenburg Public Access channel, on Facebook Live, on the Public Access Facebook page, and will be uploaded to the Lunenburg Access YouTube channel after the meeting. The agenda lists all the topics which may be discussed at the meeting and are those reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken as a result of these discussions. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by the open meeting law. We're to begin this evening with public comments from the board.
None.
I'm just going to note that we are not joined this evening by Mr. Franco, but we will look to see him at our next meeting coming up on the 3rd. Any public comments this evening from the public? All right, seeing none, we're going to go to announcements. I'm going to start with one. I'm going to make an announcement on behalf of the Cemetery Commission. So I'm just going to read this. The Cemetery Commission would like to ask the town of Lunenburg's community to join at the town hall here in the Bellata Meeting Room, and this is going to be next Tuesday, September the 26th at 7 p.m. So the Cemetery Commission would like to present the presentation to the community that they provided to us at our last meeting regarding the restoration of North Cemetery boundaries. This will be open to the public to ask questions and discuss next steps and recommendations to create a beautiful New England rustic field stone wall. And the Cemetery Commission is requesting funding through the American Rescue Plan Act. I believe they're also going to be submitting a capital request. And again, the ARPA funds or American Rescue Plan Act funds were provided by the federal government. They hope that everyone takes this opportunity to become familiar with the plans and the needs of the restoration of North Cemetery boundaries. And again, that will be happening here next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Are there any other announcements this evening?
Just that the farmers market is now, from now until every Sunday, at the Ritter Lawn, and that's 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And the special town meeting is November 14th at the Middle School High School Auditorium, and that starts at 7 p.m.
Okay. Thank you. Do you have any other announcements you want to make related to any vacancies?
Do you want me to do that as part of my town manager report?
It's up to you. All right, you can do it later. All right. Do we have any other communications from any other boards? Any other announcements this evening? All right. Any communications from other boards? All right. So we do have two appointments tonight. Because they are both public hearings, we have to wait for that specific time to begin them. Let's see. So I want to go to interviews, appointments, reappointments, and resignations, and I think the town manager has an update for us on this.
Just an announcement on two positions. We received the resignation from Alex Page. He's a heavy equipment operator, and his last day, I think, will be the end of this week. The newest hire for the facility superintendent position, I was notified that he was counteroffered at his current position and is going to be staying there.
Okay.
What was that position for?
That was the facility superintendent.
Oh, superintendent. Okay.
Scott Oja.
Was that
No, I
Kipsoja?
Kitso, old position. Yep.
Okay. Well, I guess we're going to go straight to the town manager report.
Okay. I'll start with vacancies on the board, committees, and commissions. There is one vacancy in the Architectural Preservation District Commission, one vacancy until the next annual town election for the Cemetery Commission, two vacancies on the Finance Committee, one regular member and one associate vacancy on the Green Communities Committee, one member at large vacancy on the Open Space Committee, and one vacancy on the Personnel Committee. Anyone interested in any of these positions can find the volunteer application form on the town website, complete the form and return it to the Select Board's office. And if you have any questions on the roles and responsibilities, you can contact our office at 978-582-4130, extension 144. For employment opportunities for the town, the following is a list of vacancies. Assistant to the sewer business manager, which is 19 hours a week. Assistant town accountant, 32 hours a week. Assistant meal site manager, 19 and a half hours a week. Conservation administrator, 36 hours a week. Facilities superintendent, 40 hours a week. Finance director, 40 hours a week. 2 heavy equipment operator positions, which is 40 hours a week. Principal assessor, which is 40 hours a week. 2 seasonal cemetery laborers, and videographer, which is 2 to 10 hours on average. Information on these positions can also be found on the town website under job opportunities and how to apply. An update on certification of property values, certification of new growth, and third quarter preliminary tax bills for fiscal '24. The Bureau of Local Assessment approved the request for a valuation delay beyond the January 1st deadline on September 13th, and that was done through Gateway. That's the system that is logged in and where we file all our forms with DOR. Through conversations with our Bureau of Local Assessment field representative and our Bureau of Local Accounts field representative, since our property values will not be certified until February, our new growth will not be certified until DOR certifies our values. And that is going according to Vision's timeframe for their projects. So they would submit the values at the end of January, beginning of February, and that certification process would be taken over by DOR. This equates to using the same estimate that we used at the annual town meeting for new growth at the upcoming fall town meeting. We will need to submit a pro forma recap after the special town meeting, and once approved, can mail out the third quarter estimated tax bills before December 31st, and they will be due by February 1st. I spoke with another community that went through a third quarter preliminary billing, and they provided us with a template for a bill insert for the third and fourth quarter bills, which we'll use as a starting point, and this will provide information to taxpayers on what they'll expect to receive for the third and fourth quarter bills, and what to expect more for the fourth quarter actual bills. An update on the LED streetlight project. Our contractor has converted approximately 50 lights thus far, and we met with Unitil today, and our contractor will be documenting any wiring issues they find in the field, and we will provide all this information to Unitil at the conclusion of the project to review the costs with the town and Unitil. That's all I have for tonight.
All right. Thank you to the town manager. Do we have any questions related to the town manager's report this evening?
I have a quick question. With respect to some of the open employment opportunities, are you seeing any more applications, any signs that things may be changing for the better as far as finding?
I can say honestly, no. I'm not seeing any trend changes in that.
How many heavy machinery, machine
Two.
operators? No, those are,
Oh,
how many?
in all?
Yeah.
I think we have,
Like how many, what percentage are we short?
so 2 out of 6, I believe. We're down.
Okay, so, okay, 33%, all right.
I was just adding up those hours. That's 276 hours a week. And I think my math is correct with that. Which, divided times 52, divided by 12, that's almost 1,200 hours a month. 1,198 hours of work that, the residents and the taxpayers are expecting to be performed, but we don't have the personnel to do them. Okay. Any other questions or comments related to the town manager report? All right, we're going to go to some old business here. We have a couple more minutes. So last week, we signed the temporary and permanent easement for 895 Flat Hill Road. Tonight, we have a re-signing. There was a note that the version that we signed was not the finalized version. Do you want to just comment on what that change was? I think it was something pretty minor.
That version didn't include the payment for the permanent easement amount. It was the original version that was proposed back, I think it was February, and that was the end result with that property, was that amount.
Okay. I move for the board to re-sign the temporary and permanent easement for 895 Flat Hill Road.
Second.
Any additional discussion? All right, as many as are in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. All right, the motion passes unanimously. I'm going to go ahead and sign and pass down. Please be sure to note your name, write your name, and your position. Okay. Right. Why don't we just go straight to, we don't have any warrants tonight. Why don't we start with some committee reports?
I have none. School committee meets tomorrow.
I have done this. FinCom met last week, but I have not played the recording.
I don't have a committee report.
Okay, I have two. This morning, met with Representative Scarsdale, and this was all the communities that are in her district. And so this was a meeting with representation from, I'm going to get the towns right here, Ashby, Lunenburg, Townsend, Groton, Dunstable, and I believe Pepperell. And so the meeting occurred at the Townsend Town Hall. And, you know, the general focus of the conversation was on kind of community development. That's the general phrase. And really what we were doing was a good opportunity to kind of go around the horn and share some of the challenges that we're all facing. I think there's a recognition that, you know, the cities get a lot of funding, and that, you know, there's a need for us to kind of come together as a region to be able to advocate as a region for different needs. You know, one of the highlights that came out of the meeting, just to talk about a couple points, was, you know, Groton just had built this, you know, $100 million music center, and I don't believe it was a town that did it, but they have this, you know, $100 million you know, music center that's about a fifth of the size of Tanglewood. And so they were expecting this to kind of bring in quite a bit of people. And so part of that conversation was, you know, if someone's coming out to go to an event in the evening there, you know, what are the activities that can occur during the day? There was conversation about agritourism, which, you know, I will say as someone who owns goats, I get contacted frequently by people who want to come over and hang out with the goats or clean up after the goats, and I think it's the strangest thing, and so I've definitely never fed into it, but I learned today that this is like a common thing, and that a lot of people will pay to go to a farm and take care of animals for a day or for a couple of hours. And so there was conversation about, you know, how do we grow agritourism in the area, ecotourism. You know, I think Dunstable, similar to Lunenburg, has a lot of land and conservation, and, you know, how do you bring more attention to those things? So we were talking about kind of taking a regional approach to promoting some of the trails, some of the businesses, and really trying to integrate. I think one of the cool ideas that came out was, you know, integrating that with some form of an AI technology that, you know, that way if someone's looking for, hey, what are the activities I can do in this region of Massachusetts, that, you know, they might be given, you know, based on the time that they're looking for, the ages of the people that are participating, that they can be fed kind of a bunch of different activities. So, you know, this was a conversation that was happening on a smaller scale. It just got broadened to include additional communities. We will be looking to meet in the next month. Mr. Burney was also part of the conversation, and there was also talk about, you know, as we develop master plans, to try to do them in sync with one another. So that way we're kind of taking a more regional approach to how we're planning, and that it's not just, you know, one community focused. Groton right now is going through they're at the very exact point that we are at with the master plan and having that steering committee. And there was notion or mention today that they're very interested in working with us to kind of develop that in unison. So that way, you know, as there are services, I think Pepperell mentioned that, you know, part of their master plan is to promote dairy farms, but they don't actually have dairy farms really in their community. But on both sides of them, you know, are dairy farms. And so, you know, kind of taking that more regional approach. So, you know, again, it was a good conversation, good starting conversation, and I hope that what comes out of this is a regional approach to looking for some of these funding needs as we're all faced by similar challenges. Second, the Municipal Building Design Committee met last night. It was a pretty productive meeting. We were breaking the projects down into phases. I think more information to come related to that, but we're taking a phased approach to how we can address the municipal needs. One thing we identified was Phase 3, which at this point is looking like a TC Passios type project, that we want to have a conversation with the school committee to talk about Turkey Hill, because I think that the feeling on the board, or the thought on the board, is that there's going to be some overlap between what's occurring or future disposition of Turkey Hill and our plans for TC Passio. So we'll be looking to get that meeting scheduled in the next month or so to kind of continue that conversation. Hopefully I'll have a good update to the board. All right, and that brought us right to 7:15. All right, so, to the clerk, do we have the public hearing notice?
Yes, we do.
All right,
The Lunenburg Licensing Authority Select Board will hold a public hearing on September 19th, 2023 at 7:15 PM in Town Hall, 17 Main Street, second floor, Lunenburg, Massachusetts, on the application submitted by Lunenburg Liquor Mart, Inc., doing business as Liquor Mart for an all-alcohol retail off-premises retail package store license, located at 88 Mass Ave, Lunenburg, Massachusetts. This is a change of location for the transfer of the license from Elena's Gourmet Grocery, 1 Main Street. The premises is described as single-story building with 2 rooms, storage area, 2 entrances and exits, and a total of 3,100.75 square footage.
all right. Okay, and at this time, we'll ask the applicants or their representation to come forward, and their representation to come forward. And so what we'll ask is for you to state your name, if you can come to the microphone. We'll ask you to state your name and address and why you are looking to do this business, as well as any information you can provide about, training experience selling alcohol.
My name is Attorney Gina Wilson, and my firm is working with Mr. Patel on the transfer of this license and other related business activities from a legal perspective.
Okay?
My name is Vinay Patel, and I'm living 3 Stone Court, Gloucester, Massachusetts.
All right, Mr. Patel, what was your first name? I didn't catch that.
Vinay, V-I-N-A-Y, Vinay.
All right, and why are you looking to get this business going here in Lunenburg?
Because opportunity for the legal license.
So one's basically available and for sale,
Yes.
and so you're looking to purchase it from Elena's
Yes.
and then relocate to 88 Mass Ave. And what is the current use of 88 Mass Ave? I don't recall.
The particular unit that they will be occupying has been vacant for some time. 88 Mass Ave is, it's a small, almost strip mall down across from the Fallon Animal Clinic, down near what used to be the Bootlegger. That's how old I am. Sorry, I don't remember that.
It's now called the Reboot.
It's called Reboot?
Yeah, it's now called the
Okay, well,
Reboot.
thank you, I'll stop in. And my memory is it's been vacant for some time, so it would be nice to see a new business in there. And Mr. Patel has been in the alcohol business for approximately 15 years. He has extensive experience, he is certified, he has been a manager and an operator of other off-premises liquor establishments for quite some time. There are a couple of things that I would like to bring to the board's attention procedurally with regard to the application. My firm did send out the notices based on the addresses we had on the abutters list. Of the 3 abutters that were listed, 2 of the notices came back, both the certified and the first-class mail notices came back as undeliverable. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, since this is a public hearing, that in actuality, it was the same abutter that owned the 2 properties, so that abutter may not have had actual notice of this meeting. I just wanted to bring that to your attention before we go too much further. And then the other issue was that we do have a couple of updates to the application packet that's before you. Since that application packet was submitted, there has been a change to the proposed floor plan. I have the updated floor plan here. It's not a major change. They just added a second bathroom to the area. So I do have a copy for you here, if you'd like. Do you mind just...
This one has 2 bathrooms already.
To whom should we hand this? And then, of course, in light of the addition of that extra bathroom, the information on page 1 of the Commonwealth's application for transfer of license in item number 4 has changed, just with respect to square footage. And also, the new floor plan shows 3 exits. There's an additional exit on the side of the retail area. There's an exit and entrance in the back for deliveries, and then there's the main entrance in the retail area as well.
For the board's benefit, the floor plan we have in the drive is the updated one.
Oh, it is the updated one. Okay. And so I do have an updated page 1, if you'd like. that as well.
Okay. All right, I'm going to turn to the board for questions related to this application. Selectman Imke.
Thank you. So I have a question. You said you currently reside in Gloucester, right? And I see you have a business in Gloucester and one in Orange.
Yes.
So what's your plan for being present here? How are you going to manage the store here? How much time will you be here?
I've been here like almost every day for day to day for like morning, maybe 7 hours. And I put another, like one of the employees who's the trained typical liquor store, they work for it.
So you're not at your other stores then? You could be at this one more than the other two?
Yes, I have the one more in other place.
How long have you had the other? You said
I'm sorry,
how long have you had the other businesses?
how long? In Orange, I think so, the Highland in Orange, I think so 3 years. And another one in Gloucester, I got like 1.5 years.
Okay. I thought I had heard.
Yes, because
15.
it's my brother
Oh.
Patel and. Can I speak if you don't mind?
Yep, come forward to state your name and address for the
Yeah,
record.
my name is Jignesh Patel, and I live at 456 Ridge Road, Athol, Massachusetts. I mean, me and my brother, he helps me out with my business. I own 8 businesses with alcohol license, and he's been helping me out I've been owning liquor store for almost 16 years, and he's been helping me run those places. So he had experience, he's my partner in 3 with business with me. And the main reason why I'm moving to Lunenburg, my son is just started school in Monty Tech in Fitchburg. So I was in this area and I really like it, and I really wanna, I'm a real estate developer also. So I'm also gonna look into develop some real estate here too. And it interests me, and my friend also owns a business in Fitchburg for a long time, so I know this area for a long time. I even looked at this, I don't know the store name right next door. I even looked at that business 5 years ago. I wanted to buy that too.
Okay,
So I'm familiar with the area, and I do want to invest business here.
okay.
So you'll also be helping to manage
Yes,
the store at?
he's my brother, and we own a house together in Athol also.
Okay. Okay. And have you had any incidents at any of your other businesses with respect to alcohol? Okay. That's all for me for now. Thanks.
Okay.
What is the timeframe that you think you'll be opening?
If you don't mind, because I'm familiar with the process more than him.
Just be sure to come to the microphone.
Yeah, so once the ABCC approves the license, we wanted to start within a week or a couple of weeks.
Do you have ownership or a lease already with the building?
Yes.
We do. And there is the copy of the commercial lease agreement is in the packet that was submitted to you, and a copy of the purchase agreement with the seller of the license is also in the packet that was delivered to you. And the time frame, of course, is dependent upon the ABCC's response to the application.
Is this the building, was this the old Grand Rental Station building? I think that's
I'm
what
going
it
to say
is.
yes.
Yeah, because I think this is where remember we had the dispensary in the back, they proposed in the back, all the way in the back corner of this, I think that's what this is.
They also have there's a paint-your-own pottery
Yeah, nearby.
store
Right.
in there,
Yep.
and my kids used to love that.
Yeah, that's Grand Rental Station. Yeah, that's what I thought, okay. I don't have any questions, I mean, it sounds like they have the experience to do it. I don't have any questions, but I didn't get a chance to look at your business plan, but what are your hours planning to be?
The hours of operation,
I know they're in there, but I'm trying to get back between screens here, so.
and so the hours of operation were included in the
Store policy.
8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and currently we have 10 a.m. through 11 p.m. on Sunday, unless the town has any municipal regulations on Sunday hours.
I don't believe we have any specific Sunday hours except opening time, I think. When was the opening on Sunday?
10 o'clock?
10 a.m.
Is that what we have, 10? Okay. I have no other questions.
Thanks for joining us. I just have one question that we haven't talked about. Can you guys just walk us through what your ID verification process and policies are?
Yeah, and I want to, if Vinay can answer this question.
Yeah, sure. So ID verification, yes, we got the system like have it, you can purchase from the state of Massachusetts, they approve it for that in the store. So any customer coming, we gonna be verify the ID for everyone.
You're talking about those scanners?
Yes,
Okay,
scanners.
cool. That's really all I wanted to know. Thank you.
I can give you specific about the device if you like.
I don't really know that much about them. You can if you want to, but
The system is called Clover POS system. Basically what it is, soon as we scan or punch in any liquor product, automatically whoever works is going to ask for ID for a customer. Until they see the ID, they have to scan the ID to go through the transaction.
cool, thank you.
Vinay, I have a couple questions for you.
Yes.
Are you, your application says that you're 100% owner of this business, is that
Yes.
correct? So you're not sharing any ownership,
No.
although I'm assuming it's going to be really helpful to.
Yes, it's
get it
helpful
going.
me. He's my brother, then we are like partner for the business, but I'm the 100% on that
So
business.
we own 3 business together.
We own the 3 business together.
Okay. Can you go over one more time what your projected hours on site will be? I know that was what Selectman Imke's question was.
So 8 AM to 8 AM to 11 PM, and,
No, as far as when you yourself are going to be on site.
how many
much time is
hours?
gonna be on your-
Maybe 6 or 7 hours a day
Okay.
in that location most of the time.
All
If
right.
I gotta be more, I gonna be stay more if I needed to.
Okay. Our regulations require the manager on record to be on site 50% of the time, at least. So if your business is open from 8 AM to 11 PM, that's a little more than 6 hours.
Okay,
Is that something you're going to be able to comply with?
yes,
I'm sure in this setting, you're not going to tell me no, right?
no,
So at a future date, you may want to come and add another manager on record. So that way, if you find that you're not on site 50% of the time, you can always, add another manager. And I would highly recommend that you do that if you find that you're not physically here in the town of Lunenburg at the store half the time that it's open, because, that's then going to trigger some form of a violation. And you don't want to have that. Can you talk to me a little bit about tip certification? I know you mentioned that you have experience in the business, but of course, I don't know what that means, if you've been in the back office, if you've been the person actually selling alcohol.
no, I'm
So
in the
can you
front.
talk to me about your actual
I'm at the
experience?
register most of the time, 10 to 12 hours a day at the register, and I doing all the ordering and everything. And I know the products well, and I know the people, how gonna be ID, check the IDs and everything. So I know the experience for every day, 10 hours. Behind the counter, a couple hours, I'm just doing the paperwork and other stuffs.
Okay. My comment is, and I say this at almost every alcohol meeting, so my comment is, when parents have their kids come home from college, and we're talking 19, 18, 20, 21-year-olds, those kids need to come home, and they need to come home alive and not injured. And, the need to make an extra 20, 30 bucks on a case of beer or a bottle of booze should never outweigh the risk that it poses to an underage person consuming alcohol and therefore getting in some kind of accident or some life-threatening injury. And so, it's very important to us that at no time that you sell alcohol to underage people. Naturally, that's part of the rules. So it's really comforting to hear that you're going to be doing the automatic verification process, in which you're using some kind of electronic device.
Yes.
And part of this is, I've seen, every summer I get interns, and this past summer I asked to see their fake IDs because I just knew they all had
Oh,
it.
I see in it. I see in it a lot
These
right
things
now.
are amazing. I mean, it's hard to tell that they're not real.
Yes.
And the only way is if you scan them. I mean, that's the only way to know that they're fake.
Yes.
And so it's really comforting to hear that from day one, that this will be your policy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming, based on the rules that you provided to us, that all your staff, everyone working in this establishment, are also going to be tip certified, that they're going to be trained on the proper sale of alcohol. So that way, again, my number one concern is the kids who haven't yet lived life. And nobody should be making 20, 30, 40 bucks and ending up ruining a kid's life.
Okay.
All right. As a licensing agency, we do random checks. So one thing that's important is to make sure that our policy is publicly posted in an area inside of the establishment. So that's all of our rules and regulations need to be publicly posted. Those are subject to inspection anytime by any member of the licensing authority, which is this board, or our agents, which is every police officer in town. So that's really critical that you have that and that all of your employees are educated and aware that the town has an alcohol policy, what it is and where it's at. That's really important. And then again, what you're doing, having a business in Lunenburg, certainly I welcome, you to come here and have business here. It's really important that, I drink and, I'm always looking for places to buy booze without going all the way to New Hampshire. So hopefully your prices will be more competitive than the ones we have now. And I certainly hope to be a patron. If there's are there no other comments or questions, is there a motion?
I just have a clarification or correction. I believe that you misspoke. The policies don't have to be publicly posted. They have to be readily available upon request.
Correct.
So they don't have to be posted, but just wanted to be clear.
Yep. All right, are there any other comments, questions? If not, is there a motion?
I think there's a.
Oh, we have someone from behind you that would like to speak on the screen. I can't read that small print name, but if you wouldn't mind stating your name and address, and then your comment.
Hi. Hello. Hi, respected board members. Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Justin Kumar Patel. I'm a resident of 155 Northfield Road, Lunenburg. For more than 8 years, and I would like to see new business being opened in the town, but at the same time, I would like to raise concern that in our town, our resources should be distributed in opposition of the license being transferred to the particular location, which is 88 Massachusetts Avenue. As we all know, there are already 2 liquor licenses existing in the immediate area, and there is 1 beer and wine license as well. The license in question today that is being transferred from 11 Main Street to, 1 Main Street to 88 Massachusetts Avenue as a resident. I would like to see the license being used in the downtown area where it may be in need rather than being transferred to an area where there is no public need or use. Proposed locations of license transfer at 88 Massachusetts Avenue will serve more people of Fitchburg population than Lunenburg residents. I would like to request the board members to request due diligence before approving the license transfer. Because as per my knowledge, there was a citizen's petition to issue a new license in Lunenburg in Mass Avenue, I think on the other side of the town. So where this license will be moved from the current location, there won't be anything in the immediate area in downtown to serve the downtown area.
Okay, I think we all understood those comments. I would respond back that we do have an all alcohol license that's about 3/4 of a mile from the center of town. It's Jack's Country Variety. It's going eastbound on Route 2A, away from the center, but I do hear your concerns, and I want to pause to give the board the opportunity to respond with any comments or concerns related to those comments.
I personally, I don't know of any place in town center that would be available for this right now anyway. My understanding, and I don't know, well, it's conjecture, so I won't say what I was about to say, but my understanding is that number one is that there are no other places that are available. I don't know if the gentlemen have looked for other places in town center. You did, and what was the result of your search?
There was nothing. We did look for places for rent all over Luna, especially downtown Main Street, but there was nothing available.
Right.
I did even search. I'm a real estate agent myself, so I did look at everywhere. But there
There
was
is a
nothing.
building for sale next to the city hall.
What he's mentioning is that there's a building right next to us that's for sale for $350,000.
Yeah, but which has no parking.
There is no parking, and it won't be helpful to a customer. I mean, during snow time, there won't be no parking in front of the store.
Yeah.
So it's not a good access point for the customers.
The second part is that the current license owner has the right to sell it, and there's no restriction for them selling it to somebody else. These two gentlemen, or the owner, I should say, and his brother, seem to be in good standing, and I'm not here to, to create a mandated city plan about where items could be, and if they can make a business work there, if somebody won't go to their store because it's 2 miles away, not even 1.5 miles away down the road, then they're not going to come to the town center either, in my estimation, unless they walk there, which has a very limited number of people that would apply to. So it's very close to town center, and I don't see any reason to hold up the transfer of the license or the sale of the license.
Yeah, I certainly respect the public's comments. I live near the center of Lunenburg, and as I noted, I often go to New Hampshire to buy alcohol or to Hannaford because of prices, and prices matter a lot. And, if you can make a 15-minute drive and save, $10 on a bottle, then why not do it? And, I'm not drinking Smirnoff most of the time, so it's, so okay, it matters. But I do hear the concern being that this puts a concentration, 88 Mass Ave is on the boundary of Lunenburg, as you're well aware. It doesn't service the people who live in Hickory Hills, who live in the eastern side of Lunenburg. We all have to travel to go to a liquor store. And so I think the concern is noted. However, as Mr. Alonso noted, I think the application that's presented to us today is fully compliant with our rules and regulations. It seems as if you guys are fully capable. And something to note, as you run your business, that you hear that there's a request and demand for more services located to the center of town, and if the opportunity arises for your business to move or relocate, certainly there's going to be a clientele that will be interested in that.
I do have 2 additional questions, if I may.
Of course.
First, I just want to make sure, and I realize Patel is a very common name. Is this person any relation?
I noticed that also. No
Okay, I
relation.
just want to make sure. But second, more important question, business-wise, why are you moving the business? Did you attempt to buy the business where it is?
It was presented as just a license.
It was presented as
Just a
just a
sale
license.
for sale of a license.
Okay.
Through the broker. It wasn't through the seller itself.
Gotcha.
So the broker says it's only a license sale, not a business.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Are there any other public comments this evening? All right, is there a motion?
I would move that we approve the all-alcohol retail license transfer to Lunenburg Liquor Mart, Inc., doing business as Liquor Mart, from Elena's Gourmet Grocery at 1 Main Street, and the change of location to 88 Mass Ave, and an application for are we doing the common vic license too at the same time?
Yes.
And the common victual license.
Second.
All right, any additional discussion? All right, as many as are in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The motion passes unanimously.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, now I'm going to pass this, we're going to sign and pass this down. I think we have 3 signatures each. Now I'm going to call our 7:30. This is a public hearing, amendment to all alcohol license for Lakefront Beverages, Inc., doing businesses on the rocks for a pledge of collateral. Before the applicant speaks, we do need to read the public hearing notice.
I did not see a notice for this one. Maybe I missed it. It's very possible, but
It doesn't require a public
Yeah, it doesn't.
hearing notice
Okay.
for the paper.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to begin our hearing this, we did see that note today that came in. We're going to go ahead and begin our hearing then for this amendment to the all alcohol license. If you wouldn't mind stating your name, address, and the reason for this request today.
Sure. I'm Attorney Jeffrey Avini, 6 Grove Ave, Leominster, Mass. I represent Avidia Bank. Avidia Bank made a loan to the entity that holds a license. We are now just fulfilling the obligations of the commitment letter and getting the pledge in place. It took a little bit of time because there was a DUA certificate that took some time to shake loose from the Commonwealth, so that was a delay, but this is just a pretty straightforward pledge based on a loan that was made to the entity that holds the license.
And you're counsel for Avidia Bank?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'm going to turn to the board for any questions related to this pledge. Or comments.
So this agreement is between the two entities, but it cannot happen without our approval. Is that correct?
I'm not sure I understand. The transfer's already occurred.
Right. But
So now we're just putting a pledge in place.
Right.
So it's an agreement between the entity and Avidia Bank to pledge the license as
Right,
collateral.
and such pledge, even though it's between the two parties, cannot happen without our approval as well.
Correct, right, yes.
I don't have any questions, Mr. Chair.
Any comments from the town manager on this?
No,
You have a recommended course of action for the board?
I don't see anything outstanding that would prohibit the board from signing it.
I think this is pretty straightforward. Is there a motion?
I will move to approve the amendment to alcohol license 07528-RS-0636 for Lakefront Beverage, Inc., doing business as On the Rocks for a pledge of collateral.
Second.
I'll make as a comment that, recently we were advised of incident that happened at On the Rocks, and I just want to publicly say that I think that the way that it was handled was fully appropriate by your staff and personnel. It definitely represents the kind of actions we want to see when there are people at establishments drinking that are under the influence, and it was well handled. So I want to just offer those kudos to you and to your team.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's appreciated.
All right, we have a motion, a second. Any additional comments? All right, as many as are in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, no. All right, the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks. Have a great night.
You too.
Same to you. All right, going back to our regular agenda. So we knocked out a couple of things already. I don't think we have any minutes here today to approve. All right, so we're going to go back to old business, review review special town meeting warrant articles. Okay, so we're looking for some additions here. I'm like, why did this get so long?
I was gonna say-
Planning
That's all the
board.
planning board.
I can see the planning board articles made it.
Yes.
That's why it's so long.
5 planning board articles. There's one additional one from the Agricultural Commission, and that one was worked on between town council and the chair of the Ag Commission.
And do we know what letter is that?
Oh, sorry. That starts at, for the Agricultural Commission one, that is M.
So we went from only F, and now we're all the way to R, which is almost more than the annual town meeting articles.
So the other additions were an article from the Park Commission. This article has to do with the grant that they applied for a park grant. The agency they're dealing with is saying that they need a town meeting vote regarding the ARPA funding and the commitment.
For which one is this?
That's my understanding of, this was third hand. L.
Yeah.
They need a town meeting vote.
That's what they're being told by the,
Why is this amount now an extra $184,000?
I don't know anything other than that's what they're being told by the agency that they applied for the park grant for. And I am assuming that 184,000 is also the special town meeting article from last year for the design funding.
Hold on a second, hold on a second.
That's not what this says.
This adds a second hurdle that didn't exist from the federal government to the distribution of ARPA funds, and now somebody says that we have to have one, so somebody could potentially derail this, even though there is no requirement for such?
Yes, and that's what the chair is going back and forth with the agency on, but she wanted to preserve,
Yeah.
the placeholder on the warrant, just so nothing's lost on the grant front. But we can invite the Park Commission to the next meeting to
Oh, yeah.
Yep, for sure.
That doesn't make any sense.
No.
It doesn't.
make any
I agree.
And I want to
There's
hear
no requirement
specifically,
For the ARPA funding commitment at a town meeting.
no, and the
So-
town meeting, to my knowledge, town meeting can't commit ARPA funds anyway.
No.
Right.
But I want to get clarification on this, on the additional $184,000 that's in here too. Because what they received was $1 million, not $1,184,000.
No, but it says, so I guess they're including, at least in the wording of the article, it says that the town has allocated $1.184 million in available funds and ARPA funds. So there's obviously there's $184,000 somewhere else that I don't know what from, but.
Like I said, it's probably from the special town meeting article.
Could be.
Voted last fall for the
Yep.
design funding.
Yep.
That's what I would think it is, but
So,
that's,
all right.
I think Ms. Lockwood can help explain that.
Yeah, I have some questions on this wording.
Yeah, this will do nothing but absolutely confuse people.
It will. And the use of the capitalizations.
Yes.
I don't,
Now, therefore be it.
I mean, it's confusing me. I still don't
okay,
understand.
so we'll hear
There's
from
more to
them.
come on that, yeah.
All right. And I'm sure that someone's watching. We don't have to hear it tonight, but we can just plan that
Yes.
for future meeting. Okay. M is related to the key changes there are pretty self-explanatory. It's striking out 5 acres or more and noting at least 5 acres. And then, so it's just a little bit of cleaning up. I think is it possible to ask the planning board for a synopsis of key changes here?
I would, if I may, Mr. Chair, I would probably amend that and say, I'd like to see them here before special town meeting, so they can present their articles to us, therefore explaining it to lots of people who watch this to be prepared for town meeting.
Yeah.
I don't want a written synopsis, I'd rather be able to ask questions in case there's any, misunderstandings or
Yep.
things that are ambiguous.
I think we can certainly extend the invitation. I don't know if the planning board respectfully has not always appeared before us. Usually they send a representative through Adam Burney or something.
Well, that's fine, too. I mean, they can send a representative.
Okay. All right, so we'll ask the planning board or Mr. Burney or the planning board, however they want to do it, if they can explain those articles. All right, so that's going to hit Q, that's going to touch P,
And R.
okay?
Oh, no,
What-
less than
who
water
submitted
supply.
R?
P, Q, and R.
Who's
Sounds like
submitted
some
R?
Roman stuff over here.
Is R as well, planning board?
Yes,
Okay, it's not the water
it's
district.
water supply, yep. But it's,
It's like 3 pages.
Isn't,
yes.
R is, several pages long.
Multiple, so,
Yeah.
So that's
Still
that's
scrolling.
because they're deleting the whole thing as it exists in entirety and replacing it by this new rewording.
Okay.
all right, and it's up to us to decide if we want to print the whole thing or,
Well, you know.
because,
I've forwarded
scare the hell out of
the
people.
draft to town council and asked them to look specifically at the planning board articles if there's way to synthesize them more.
okay. Yeah, I think when people get a 15-page booklet for a special town meeting, it's going to be more pages than that. Well, I know, being on the planning board, I want to say, I know it's hard work. I know they put a lot of thought into the exact wording of everything. So certainly, I'm sure if there was a way to shorten it, they would have done it. But it's just, my comment then about the length is not about the need to use more words. It's just, how we present this to the public in a digestible way.
Yeah. Well, it's a balance. I mean, the zoning wording is important, and it takes it takes very strict and accurate definitions and wording to describe what they're trying to do, so therefore it takes amount of time. So I don't want to shortchange that, but I agree with you, Mr. Chair. I mean, obviously, we want people as prepared as they can be before the meeting and not be reading this for the first time or even, God forbid, seeing this for the first time at the meeting.
Yep.
I would suggest maybe the October 3rd meeting. We don't have much on the agenda yet. Chief Gamble was already coming on one article that night, maybe just doing
Of the opioid,
the
the
article.
opioid article?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so invite the planning board that night as well and the park commission.
That'd be great. All right, are there any other questions related to those warrant articles? I just want to note, we do have two placeholders up here. One of them is related to municipal building, well, not a placeholder, but Municipal Building Design Committee is requesting, it's always through this board, is requesting to provide a update at this year's town meeting, special town meeting, just an update article, but that's for this board essentially to confirm. As a reminder to our newer members, since the Municipal Building Design Committee is created through this board, their articles come back through this board, as all articles do, but they can't submit direct as other boards can. And then the other note is that we did put in a placeholder for, it's listed as J, and this is related to the bylaw for that nuisance language. So if we're able to finalize that in time in the next couple of weeks, then we'll.
And also I was added as our request
That's right.
to the special purpose stabilization.
Yep. Okay.
I would just add that the information I do have on the TC Passios roof, I put in the estimate received from the facilities director through a contractor,
Okay.
and that's approximately 300,000
Yep.
for
So-
phase one.
And just to, I didn't mention this in the committee report, but this is probably a good time. So when we met with Chris, the facilities director, at our meeting yesterday, one of the things that I want to present to the board at a later date, kind of what this full update is. But part of the conversation was, the idea is to use TC Passios as kind of a transition space. So that way, if we're rehabilitating, for example, the Ritter Building, it gives a location for that staff to go. One of the challenges is, there's multiple leaks in this roof. And so, what portion of the building critically needs to be touched up immediately in order to make future transition space even possible. I think in all plans, that back wing's getting demolished. And so what Chris Roof highlighted was that the central portion, which on our map here is highlighted in green, that's kind of high priority, that's showing a lot of evidence of leaks and they just can't patch. And he did mention, I believe he mentioned that they've patched about 40 different leaks, and that there's several remaining and they just don't know the causation. Okay. Any questions related to the warrant articles? Again, we will be talking about this at a later date. All right. Under current business tonight, so this is starting the process of reviewing select board bylaws. This is one of our goals. So if we go into our Google Drive this evening, and as a note, other than executive session, this is kind of the last business of the night. So as we go into our Google Drive, and we go into select board bylaws. So we have 5 different documents in here. Section 3.2 is the charter. And so if we can start with 184-1. And so this is buyers and sellers of goods and electronics. And what's noted here and highlighted is a name change. It says Board of Selectmen, and I would propose that we change this to Select Board.
Were we asked to review this before this meeting? I don't recall. Or who's proposing these changes? Obviously, I'm for this change. This is a clerical change, but I'm just wondering, are we supposed to be reviewing these or?
Yeah, so tonight, I should have explained this a little better. So as part of our goal, what I'm trying to do tonight is start the process. I'm not looking for us to, I think this is a special, annual town meeting goal. And so starting the process, Elaine took the liberty for us of highlighting some of the wordings that are wrong, but we do need to take a look at not just select board or board of selectmen, but the whole thing.
Right.
So I'm just highlighting, 184-1, and we note that we have a couple areas here, but I think, Mr. Alonso, a good goal would be for us to talk about this at a future meeting.
I just want to make sure I didn't miss that, because, again, I would say that I'm ready to take a vote as that every single place in all of our documents, charter, bylaw, wherever, well, charter, that's a different process, so
Yep.
maybe not, that's not it, but any bylaws, procedures, or any of the such that says Board of Selectmen should be changed to Select Board.
Do you want to just make that motion right now?
I thought I did, but, okay. I moved it to town, that the board vote to change the wording Board of Selectmen to Select Board in every legal document, including bylaws, procedures, and any other documents, with the exception of the charter that has its own review, that the town has.
Second.
All right, as a comment, the charter's already been changed.
Okay, so.
All right.
I just wanted noted that we don't have the authority to change the charter here. so-
All right.
But if it's changed, good.
So that then means after this motion and after we vote on this, we can identify all those instances in these different chapters for our next meeting. And then also if the members can take it upon ourselves to just read through these areas, because they are areas that pertain to us. And then if we have more comments, I think we'll probably hit this again, likely October 10th. Not the 3rd, so we'll target the 10th to come back with some feedback on any other changes. All right, we have a motion.
I should amend it, because I looked at Chapter 5, which is the next one, and in there they have Board of Selectmen or just Selectmen. So I'd like to include Selectmen also as being targeted to change to Select Board, if I can amend that, if somebody would amend the second.
And I will second my amendment.
You will amend your second.
Yeah, sorry. I'll amend my second.
All right. Motion second. Any other discussion? All right, as many as are in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, no. All right, the motion passes.
I apologize for the very messy motion.
Nope, it's all good. So I'm just making a note to myself.
So I do have a quick question
Yep.
while we have this open. Why is the header for 184-1 highlighted? Was there a specific change for that header? At first, I thought maybe it was highlighted because there are updates in that specific section, but looking through other sections.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Elaine did the highlights.
Excellent question, though, yes.
Yep.
I don't see any change in it.
Okay. All right, and so again, if we can take some time over the next 3 weeks or so, just read through these, and then we come back on the 10th, and if you can just make that note for the 10th, we'll re-engage this conversation.
So those 5 chapters,
Yes.
okay.
Not so much the charter. The charter is just the
That's true.
guide,
Okay, so those 4 sections,
4 sections.
okay.
And for anyone in the public, we're referring to 184-1, Chapter 5, Chapter 74, and Chapter 305 of the town's general bylaws. Okay. All right. Excellent. That's progress on that goal. For any action items for the town manager this evening? All right, I have 2. Excuse me. First is if we can just get some clarification on the current schedule for cleaning storm drains and storm drain covers around town. I think the last time that I asked about this, which was a few years ago, I think at that point we were advised by Mr. Rodigans that it was basically a 3-year schedule for many areas, and then areas closest to the lakes were, I think, on a 2-year schedule. So if we can just get clarification on that, and then I know that we have, with fall coming up, storm drain covers, that's going to be a concern. And then I want to highlight, while I'm asking about this, that I think they've done a great job on this roadside cleanup. They've taken the mower, I'm not sure which equipment's been used for it, but they've gone along the roadsides and have done a great job cleaning up around town. So I just want to highlight that. And then my second request is related to Summer Street. So, driving down Summer Street recently, I noticed there's some storm drain work that likely needs to happen. There's a little bit of grass growing on the cracks in the sidewalks, and I think Fitchburg and Leominster are outshining us, which I never like to see. All right, that's it. Thank you. I know that's going to require some follow-up with DPW.
Very well.
All right, thank you. Any other action items this evening? All right, our upcoming meeting schedule. We have a meeting scheduled on October the 3rd, that is in 2 weeks, on October the 10th, 17th, and 24th. That's 4 meetings in the month of October. Also, on the October the 11th, we have a ribbon cutting for the new ADA patio, and this is going to be at the Lunenburg Adult Activity Center, also known as the Eagle House at 25 Memorial Drive. So again, this could be October the 11th at noon, and this is going to be the ribbon cutting for the new ADA patio. Hope we all can attend. And then also, we also received invitations for the Chamber of Commerce. They have an event that is occurring this Thursday at the Chalkset Inn, and that's at 5 o'clock. And then also next week, we have a meet and greet request at Low Places Ranch, that's in Lunenburg, and that's, I think we all know where that's at, Low Places Ranch, okay. It's right next to, it's part of the Powell Stone and Gravel Complex at the far end, closest to PJ Keating's, and I don't know, I don't remember who formed that, it's on my calendar, but I don't remember who created that invitation.
That's
I
the
think that was
Economic
Development?
Committee.
Okay,
Joyce,
Joyce
Josie
Gilchrist.
Joyce, is that how you say it?
Yep.
okay. All right,
Yeah,
Josie.
Josie,
Josie Gilchrist, yeah.
all right. Okay.
I will not be able to attend the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay. I will be at both. I will plan to be at both.
The other ones should be able to be at.
Was anyone able to attend the ribbon cutting today at noon across the way?
I was.
How did that go?
It went very
Now,
well.
what was that? I did get an alert to that, but work did not allow me. What was that for again?
3 Lancaster Ave.
Oh, right, okay,
Um,
yes.
So one, family insurance, Amanda Construction, and an eye care place as
Excellent.
well.
Good.
And among other businesses, there's a lot of room available still that they're looking to.
Hopefully, we won't see
So,
a revolving door of places that we've seen over there because people couldn't make it work, so.
yeah, they did an outstanding
That's what
job.
I've heard.
Yeah, it's very nice. If you have an opportunity, I'm sure the owner would be glad to show
Yeah, I
you
would
around.
have liked to have
They did
been
a
there
really
for that
great job
reason, yeah.
inside.
Yep.
The design is nice. It maintains some historical features, like the fireplace. I mean, it's for aesthetic purposes,
Mm-hmm.
but really nice.
Put a plug in it, Lunenburg's own former selectman actually did the architectural work, Damon McQuaid did the architectural work there, so congratulations to him and the owners for a successful job.
Yep. Everyone involved, yeah, did a great job putting that together. Amanda Construction, they did all the landscaping outside
Yep.
too. Really
Nice.
looks beautiful.
It does. Looks very, very nice. It's nice to see that property right in the center of town, kind of have a comeuppance. Okay. Any public comments this evening from the town manager?
None.
Any public comments from the public? And any public comments from the board?
None.
All right. So I move to enter into executive session and to adjourn the meeting after exiting executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30, Section 21, Paragraph 3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining, where an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the government's bargaining position, and I, as chair, so declare. And this, thank you, and this is with regards to the clerical union. All right, we're going to do a roll call vote here. Selectman Imke.
Aye.
Selectman Alonso.
Aye.
Selectman Nuzolo.
There you go. Aye.
And aye for Selectman Jeffries. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go into executive session, and those at home, thank you for joining with us.